Good evening, everyone.
Pull that a little closer to you, Alder.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to get the meeting started. If anyone has cell phones, would you please silence them now? So it doesn't interrupt other speakers when they do the And we'll start reading the agenda. Board of Alders notice New Haven, the Aldermanic Affairs Committee of the Board of Alders will meet in person on Monday, June 23rd, 2025 at 6 p.m. at the Board of Alders Chamber located at 165 Church Street, second floor, New Haven, Connecticut, to hear and act on the following items. Number 1, ML, LN 2025-0187. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the appointment of August Rios to the Affordable Housing Commission. Number 2, LM 2025-0185. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the appointment of Richard Hagman to the Cultural Affairs Commission. Number 3, LM 2025-0289. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the appointment of Harry Sui to the Commission on Equal Opportunities. Number 4, LM 2025-0290. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the appointment of Jeffrey F. Wilson to the Livable Cities Initiative Board. Number 5, LM 2025-0284. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the appointment of Kenya Adams Martin to the Commission on Parks, Programs, and Recreation Facilities. Number 6, LM 2025-0285. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the appointment of Carl Babb to the Commission on Parks, Programs, and Recreational Facilities. Number 7, LM 2025-0286. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the appointment of Harry Harvey Feinberg to the Commission on Parks, Programs, and Recreational Facilities. Number 8, LN 2025-0287. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the appointment of Mary Ann Moran to the Commission on Parks, Programs, Recreation Facilities. Number 9, LN 2025-0288. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the appointment of Emily Sigmund to the Commission on Parks, Programs, and Recreational Facilities. Number 10, LM 2025-0205. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the appointment of Matthew McCalmy, I'm sorry, I can't say it properly, to the Youth Commission. Number 11, LM 2025-0295. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the reappointment of Ann Massaro to the Civil Service Board. Number 12, Order LM 2025-0172. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the reappointment of Alicia Crutchfield to the Cultural Affairs Commission. Item 13, LM 2025-0294. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the reappointment of Michelle Garden to the Cultural Affairs Commission. Number 14, LM 2025-0293. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the reappointment of Wendy Gamba to the Fair Rent Commission. Number 15, LM 2025-0300. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the reappointment of Bida Tarbs to the Fair Rent Commission. Number 16, LM 2025-0297. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the reappointment of John Russo to the Livable City Initiative Board. Number 17, LM 2025-0296. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the reappointment of Justin Nord to the Port Authority Board of Commissioners. Number 18, LM 2025-0302. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the reappointment of Giovanni Zinn to the Port Authority Board of Commissioners. Number 19, LM 2025-0291. Order of the New Haven Board of Alders approving the reappointment of Oliver Augustine to the Youth Commission. Number 20, LM 2025-0301. Order of the New Haven Board of Aldermen approving the reappointment of John Robin Wilson to the Youth Commission. Order, Honorable Rosa Ferraro Santana, Chair. Attest, Honorable Michael Smart, City Town Clerk. These items are on file and available in the Office of Legislative Services, City Hall, 165 Church Street, second floor, New Haven, Connecticut, 06510. For accessibility-related accommodations, please call us 203-946-7651 voice or 203-946-8582 TTY/TDD. Public comment and testimony may also be submitted via email to publictestimony@newhavenct.gov. This meeting may be viewed on the New Haven Board of Aldermen's YouTube page. And thank you all for being here today. And I'd like to introduce our committee, starting on my right.
Angel Hubbard, Ward 3. Yvette Hamilton, Ward 24.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Alder Evelyn Rodriguez, Ward 4.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Gary Hogan, Ward 28.
Thank you. And I'm Alder Ferraro Santana, Chair of the committee. And before we start the meeting, I would like to talk a little bit about the Parks Commission. The old Parks Commission has been demolished. And a new one has been reestablished based on the order of the charter that was done in 2023. So the new Parks Commission has been abolished in accordance with the requirements of the charter in terms of office of the members of the Board of Parks Commission in office at the time, and the adoption of this ordinance shall conclude in said board shall be abolished following the confirmation of the members of the Commission of Parks, Programs, and Recreation Facilities. At such time, all powers, duties, and authority of the board and its members shall be terminated, null and void. So, welcome to those who are here today to the Parks Commission. I just wanted to give you a brief understanding why we're appointing so many people to the Board of Parks, because that's never happened before. Number one, August Rios, is he here? Come on.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Nice to meet you all. Name and address for the record. Sure, of course. August Rios. I live at 345 Temple Street in Ward 22. Thank you.
And tell us why you want to be appointed to the Affordable Housing Commission.
Absolutely. So my name is August Rios. I'm originally from rural South Carolina, where I spent the first 18 years of my life. I come from housing insecurity. Myself and my 5 siblings. At one point, we were ages 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. My mom was a substitute teacher. My dad worked food and beverage, and the challenges in front of our family, by sheer virtue of the fact that we did not have stable housing, showed me its ability to provide dignity and stability in people's lives when we were able to access stable housing. It completely changed myself and my family's lives, and I also saw its ability to change entire communities in terms of economic resilience or improved social fabric. So I came to Yale. I'm an undergraduate right now, a rising senior, particularly to study housing. I'm a sociology and data science major. But I will say the most I've learned about housing has come from my involvement in New Haven's housing landscape. I learned very quickly that you'll have a very vibrant nonprofit environment. I spent about a little bit over a year working at the City of New Haven's Fair Rent Commission and its incredible staff. I worked at Neighborhood Housing Services and its community building and organizing unit for about a year. I currently work with them. I'm on the real estate team as a licensed real estate salesperson for first-time home buyers. I've also worked at Statewide Legal Services in their eviction unit and in United Way of Connecticut. All that's to say that I hope to build a future in the context of housing and affordable housing, because I've seen its really incredible impacts. I believe that my 3 years of experience, though, it wanes in comparison to many of my hopefully soon to be commissioner colleagues. I hope to learn from their expertise and bring my perspective as well.
Well, you do know that there is a big housing crisis in the state as well as the city. And so it is very important. So we'd like to ensure that people that want to sit on this commission attend the meetings. and know when the meetings are and are committed to that committee. Any questions from the committee?
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Yes, Alder Hogan.
I'm sorry, I'm just curious more than anything else. The South Carolina Appleseed Legal Justice Center, what did you do and what were the outcomes?
Absolutely. So I worked as a policy tracker in this past legislative session. They're a nonprofit in Connecticut, in South Carolina, and they do a lot of work with housing accessibility as well as welfare and immigration rights. I particularly flagged bills, so I went through the entire docket every week and looked at every single bill that was raised in South Carolina's legislative session. And it was my job to do a little bit of research on each's context and flag the ones that I felt were best in the interest of Columbia, South Carolina, and tenants and homeowners across the state of South Carolina. That also, as you all know, the whole country is experiencing a housing crisis. So there is a lot of, I hope, transferability with the current Affordable Housing Commission and specifically its legislative arm. I've read a lot of the Affordable Housing Commission's testimony. I know they testified for a few bills in the last legislative session about transit-oriented development and the jurisdiction of the the local housing authority. Excuse me. So I do hope that those skills will be transferable in terms of legislative research and things along those lines.
Did that prove helpful to Appleseed? Did they come up with another? Okay.
Yeah, there are a few bills that I was excited to pursue. A couple of them are kind of waiting the final stamp of approval. One was about evictions and how it kind of leaves a black mark on a lot of tenants' records, even if cases were dismissed or cases did not result in a favorable outcome for the landlord. So that was one of the bills we were pursuing.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Anyone else?
I have a couple of questions.
Alder Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening. You have a very attractive resume. My question stems in reference to your internship here at the Fair Rent Commission, which is wonderful that you were there. My question is, did you do any outreach in the community when you did this internship? And if you did, what did you learn from being out there in the field, and what did that entail? Thank you.
Absolutely. So to answer your question, yes, I did some outreach in the city of New Haven. I did passing out of some pamphlets and some community dissemination events. What I learned was that oftentimes we can't expect for individuals to be completely well informed about everything that's going on in the context of housing. A lot of the time, something that I hope to bring to the commission is an understanding that most New Haven residents and families and households work full-time jobs, so they can't be expected to make a midday public testimony, so often, or even do extensive research to understand how every bill or every ordinance will impact their lives. So oftentimes, I learned through that position how important it is for us in these roles to bring information to people in digestible, legible format so that they're able to make well-informed decisions on which they want to support, which they want to dissent, and which they might not even have an opinion on to begin with.
And if the word affordable housing is kind of a word, it's a term that's constantly used in New Haven, all over, everywhere. And if learning the things and looking at your resume in reference to everything related to housing, if you were able to do something today to improve the opportunity for people to have affordable housing in New Haven, what would you consider doing, theoretically speaking?
Absolutely. Firstly, a small shift that I think has been perhaps maybe a bit overlooked regards parking requirements. I know Hartford recently got rid of their minimum parking requirements. A lot of the times with approvals, there's not the presumption that one or two parking units, if omitted, will affect traffic patterns. But a lot of the times the absence or the requirement of a developer to add parking units or not lose a couple units disincentivizes that development. So I believe that they're potentially, in working with the commission, hope to pursue perhaps looking at parking requirements as a deterrent to investment in affordable housing. Other things, I think this year in the 2025 Affordable Housing Commission report, they will look at the inclusionary zoning ordinance in the city of New Haven from 2022. I believe the last time I checked, it has added a net 0 units to the housing stock, although I believe 34 are in the development pipeline. I think there's room to relook at that 10% threshold that requires developers in the core market to allocate 5% to Section 8 and another 5% to those at 50% of the area's median income. Some are very opposed to raising that to maybe 15% or 20%. I think it's something to definitely look at. And when we're quantifying the units in the pipeline that are below market rate, I think there's also an importance to look at what does affordability even mean? Because I think the question is affordable for whom? Some units are affordable for people making $300,000 and others are not. So dividing out below market rate, currently I believe we have 2,700 units that are below market rate, which I believe the commission defines 80% of the area's median income. I think there's an importance of looking how many of those are going to serve individuals at 30% the area's median income or 50% the area's median income. So we're making sure that we're addressing the very intricate and nuanced needs of these very specific income brackets.
Thank you. And Madam Chair, one more question.
Sure, go ahead.
And thank you. And the last question is, have you been able to attend any of the Affordable Housing Commission meetings? And what would you like to see the Affordable Housing Commission work on? Thank you.
Unfortunately, I had an overlapping work requirement. It was resolved last May. I was also taking real estate classes that conflicted with the time. I have met with Mr. Guzani to make sure my kind of needs and responsibilities reflect and align with the needs and responsibilities of the committee, and I'll be at this Wednesday's, irrespective of how today's goes. In terms of what I'm hoping to kind of implement, I do think your point about community outreach is very important. As I mentioned before, you can't expect people to know when public hearings are going to be, even though technically there's no barriers to logging on to a Zoom call. Many people work, many people don't have the time to read the news every morning. So making sure people are well informed about the bills that are surging onto the state agenda, I think that would be something I would work on. And I know the commission releases about a 40-page report. Not everyone's going to read that, so converting that into more digestible pieces of information so that tenant unions, nonprofits, those at the forefront of the housing movement are able to have a reciprocal relationship with the community. I think the commission is very important.
That sounds like a very good objective.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Anyone else? Yes, Alderman.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Thank you for coming. I heard, if appointed, communication, I think, to the general public is one of the things I'm hearing that you'd like to work on, or you think would be advisable being appointed. Okay, you said you've attended some meetings of the commission so far?
No, ma'am. I had a conflicting work requirement.
Okay, so if appointed, will you be attending meetings and be there as required,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
And, okay, because it sounds like you have some good ideas and, that piques my interest because one of the barriers, I think, to folks not getting enough information and what is available and the different criteria of affordability. Right. You're right about working people not having the time to attend meetings in the middle of the day, or even some people not having internet and computer access to be able to know what is happening, what's going on, and what they need to participate and or supporting, So I agree with the need for digestible information to go to the general public. Right? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I do have one question. You're a senior, and you're going back to South Carolina at some point? Are you staying here?
I hope to stay here, to be completely honest with you. Maybe I visit my family ever so often, but I definitely enjoy the Northeast.
Okay. I'm just wondering because you have a lot of wonderful ideas, and I'm hoping that you stay here to be able to implement some of those long term.
Thank you. That's the goal. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Staff will let you know, unless you want to stick around, you can wait till the end of the meeting because that's when we make our decision. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank
Great to meet you.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you for
Richard
coming in.
Thank you.
Hagman? Hi.
Good evening.
State your name and address for the record.
My name is Richard Hagelin. I live on 132 Edward Street in East Rock.
You're being appointed to the Commission on Cultural Affairs. Tell us why.
Well, I'm a teaching artist at the neighborhood music school and an administrator at the New Haven Symphony. I moved here after getting a master's in piano performance at NYU. I have a background in classical piano, but my passion is in teaching. As a musician, you know, I believe that music and art is essential to a joyous life and is critical to creating empathetic and self-actualized individuals. Based on my personal experience and the kind of joy that I experience as a teacher working with students. When I moved to New Haven, I had the opportunity to work with the neighborhood music school, which I think is one of the most amazing institutions of its kind. And it expanded my concept of what that kind of impact can be. And I've been inspired to kind of take the skills that I've crafted as a teaching artist and find new ways to apply those. A friend recommended that I explore the Cultural Affairs Committee. This is also similar to the work I've done at the New Haven Symphony Orchestra, which within classical music I think is doing some of the most interesting and impactful work in terms of making music more accessible, more relevant to the communities it serves. And I've been a part of some fantastic productions. I don't know if you know, last fall we did the Creatures of Prometheus, and that showed me what's possible with co-creation, which I understand is a big part of what's happening in New Haven right now. So I'm within this ecosystem and sort of falling in love with the city, and I want to contribute more.
Any questions from my colleagues?
I'm Madam Chairman for this, thank you.
Over Hamilton.
Hi, thank you, Chair. So will you be able to attend the meetings if appointed, sir? And do you know when those meetings are?
They're Mondays, 5 p.m., first Monday of the month. I hope so. I usually teach in the evenings. One of the reasons why I haven't done this sooner is because I'm usually working as a musician. But if I were to move forward, I would communicate to make sure that my schedule was open at that time.
Okay. In addition, the Cultural Affairs Committee also has subcommittees. I didn't know if you knew that. And they do meet at different times. The subcommittees meet at different times than the regular meeting is altogether. So I just wanted you to be aware of that, which I'm sure that Alex will be able to explain more in detail. So it's your decision, you know. Just want to let you know that I don't know when the subcommittees meet. It's up to who's chairing that group.
Well, part of the advantages of being a musician is flexibility. So, you know, I can always move my schedule around to accommodate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Alderman Rodriguez.
Thank you much. And again, the information you provided says a lot about you. Sounds like you're a wonderful individual based on this curriculum vitae that I see here. But what I find interesting is that you're already serving as an artist, as a teacher in the neighborhood music school. You're working with our children. And so my question is, how did you learn about the cultural affairs and be that you're already engaged? What do you seek to gain personally in being a member of the cultural affairs? Thank you.
I met with a colleague, well, a friend of mine, Sarah Kahane. She served on a board here. I can't recall which one. No, Sarah Flanka.
Mhm.
And she recommended that this would be a good next step because I'm at a position in my life where I'm kind of thinking, how do I grow on these skills? And falling back on, again, I'm a musician, I'm a teaching artist, there's not a linear path. And she said, this is a fantastic opportunity. I kind of have the philosophy that when an opportunity, someone says go, you take it, right? And you let the world, the universe will end up providing as long as you're in alignment with your purpose. So I don't quite know what I'll get out of it, but I really emphasize in my life the value of service. Service as an artist, service as a person. It sustains me and it makes my life stable. So this is an extension of that philosophy. And I'm excited to see what would happen. I think that materially, I'm someone who enjoys connecting with others, and it would be fantastic fantastic experience to develop those skills in another context. I'm doing that right now with children. I assume there are no children on the Cultural Affairs Committee. Though I am
Are
great.
you plan for children in the cultural affairs committee?
But,
And families and.
yes, and I work with those. I've also worked with, at the symphony with stakeholders. And it's that kind of work that I get energy of. And I suppose in a roundabout way that I would continue to get energy from this kind of work, which is interacting with people, working with people, talking about something I love, which is art. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Madam Chair.
Any further questions?
No, Madam Chair.
Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna butcher your name again, Henry Seal. And I apologize for that.
Good evening, Madam Chair.
Good evening.
For the record, the last name is pronounced Sayu.
Oh, say you.
Yeah.
Say you.
Okay. I'm gonna write it down because when my colleague, on the board, when he has to say your name, he's not gonna know how to say it. So I just wrote it out as I understood it to be. Say you.
Yeah, Sayu.
So he'll know.
Yeah.
State your name and address for the record, please.
Henry Jerry Sayu Jr. My address is 440 East Church Street, apartment 1D, New Haven, Connecticut. That's Ward 11.
You've been appointed to the Equal Opportunities Commission.
Correct.
Why? Why do you want to join that commission?
Well, for a couple of reasons. A little about me. I'm a graduate of New Haven Public Schools. I graduated from Metropolitan Business Academy, class of 2018. While there, I served as class president and I served as a member of the citywide student council. I think I got my early beginnings doing the sort of work that I would be doing with this commission in high school, because while there, I was an advocate for immigrant rights. Around the time that I was graduating, there was a lot of, actions going on in the city as far as protecting immigrants from ICE enforcement and that sort of thing. I was an advocate for them in that regard. I wrote several op-ed pieces in the New Haven Independent, advocating for their rights. After high school, I went to Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina. I was a major in political science and minor in economics. I transferred up to the University of Connecticut. While at the University of Connecticut, I interned for Senator Richard Blumenthal, and then I briefly served as a staff assistant for him. In that capacity, I worked on a lot of his legislation regarding amending equal protection statutes and laws such as Title IX and Title VII. A lot of the amendments that Senator Blumenthal was trying to bring forward at that time sort of replicate the sort of laws that exist in New Haven today, such as recognizing pregnant women as a protected class and sort of expanding our understanding of the sort of classes that should be protected. So I was very instrumental in his advocacy in that regard. Following graduating from the University of Connecticut and working for Senator Blumenthal, I enrolled in law school. I'm currently a rising 3L. And while in law school so far, I've had the opportunity to work for the Department of Consumer Protection, which is a regulatory agency where I primarily serve to enforce our fair trade practice laws, which are, I think, a corollary to equal protection laws, because at the heart of trade practice laws is sort of ensuring that people, common people, are getting a fair shake from a variety of entities. So I did that for throughout my first and second year of law school. Now I'm a rising 3L, and I currently work for the Division of Criminal Justice. There, I sort of specialize in due process and equal protection litigation. So I think that as far as my familiarity with the sort of issues that may come before me at the commission, I think that my background, both working with Senator Blumenthal, my background working with the Department of Consumer Protection, and my current position at the Division of Criminal Justice would serve me well.
I'm very impressed with your pedigree. I mean, the wonderful it's a wonderful experience that you've had.
Thank you.
Based on, you lived here, you were taught in the schools, you went on to do something good, and you've done things to serve what you believe in. And I think that that is a wonderful thing. And you look so young. It's amazing to me that you can do all of that and have enough energy to still continue to do more.
I appreciate that, Madam Chair.
Any other questions?
Yes, Madam Chair, I do.
Alder Hogan.
The first thing that caught my eye was creating research memos to support the administrative enforcement of cannabis. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, so Connecticut is a little late to the ball game as far as creating regulation for marijuana. I think we shouldn't have to speak in euphemisms.
As long as you didn't say reefer, we were.
No, so we're going to call it marijuana for the purposes of this hearing. So a lot of what I had to do in my role with the cannabis legislation was research what sort of laws states were more on the cutting edge of cannabis legislation, such as Colorado, for example, what sort of regulations they had in place to ensure that they weren't over criminalizing the use of cannabis, but also recognizing that with the, introduction of cannabis into, mainstream American life, to make sure that it is properly regulated. So finding that balance between what the law, should be as far as making sure that we are promoting a growing industry and what the law should be as far as protecting consumers. That was what my research primarily related to.
Thank you for that answer.
Yeah.
No more questions, Madam Chair.
Alder Rodriguez.
Sure, thank you. You indicate in the question, why do you believe you would be a good fit for your selected board and commissions? You again share there your history regarding the school system here,
Correct.
your education, but you indicate that you are also now a lab alumni. What does that mean? Please educate us on that.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure on what the exact term. Do you mind spelling that out?
Okay, it says my deep connections to the New Haven Public School System, first as a K through 12 student and now as a lab alumni and frequent contributor to programming ensures that I have a continued interest in the well-being of the school system.
Yeah, that may have been a slight typo, but I think what I was getting at was that as an alumni of Metropolitan Business Academy, I'm not an inactive alumni, I'm an active alumni. I frequently visit the school, I frequently go back and supplement some of the lessons they have. For example, when I was at Metropolitan Business Academy, I took constitutional law, and then as a senior, I was a teacher's assistant for constitutional law there. Currently in law school, I'm again a teacher's assistant for constitutional law, and I often do go back and assist with the instruction in constitutional law at Metropolitan Business Academy.
Thank you. Now, my last question stems about, it looks like you have a lot, you're very busy, and that's wonderful. We all have 168 hours a week, right? But my question is, will you be able to attend the meetings? Because that's going to be very important in reference to this commission. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I want to be clear that, my dedication to the city of New Haven is unparalleled. When I was tapped for this position, I made sure that I organized my schedule for the following semester so I can specifically be free to attend the meetings for the commission this semester, which I understand will be on Wednesdays, the first Wednesday of every month from 6 p.m. Or beginning at 6 p.m. I have no prior commitments at this time that would overlap with that. So if I haven't been clear so far, I want to be resoundingly clear that my primary commitment will be to the commission on Wednesdays, on the first Wednesdays of every month.
Thank you. From what I understand, the Commission on Equal Opportunities may at other times it may be necessary to engage in its work. So it is our hope that besides the Wednesday that you will be able to accommodate your schedule to meet those demands.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, any further questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
The next person up is Jeffrey F. Wilson. Come on up. And if I slaughtered that middle word.
No, just Jeff for short.
Okay,
Jeff with one F. Good evening.
good evening.
Pull that mic up, please, Jeff.
Your name and address for the record.
Sure, Jeff Wilson, 303 Greenwich Avenue, New Haven, Connecticut.
And you're being appointed to the Livable City Initiative Board.
Correct. Yes. I am a homeowner, and I hope you don't mind, I prepared like in writing some things just because I'm not accustomed to
Okay,
public speaking,
feel
so.
comfortable.
Good. I'm a homeowner on Greenwich Avenue. I'm a housing specialist formerly with IRIS, an organization which maybe everybody's heard of, hopefully, specializing with immigrants and refugees in Connecticut. And now I'm a realtor with Farnham Group, a licensed real estate agent. I have a son attending New Haven's Metropolitan Business Academy. Really, after hearing this gentleman speak, I'm feeling very hopeful. And I want to join to help create equitable housing solutions that make New Haven more livable for all residents. I spent 3 years searching for a home as a single low-income parent facing repeated setbacks, competing against investors with deeper pockets. I eventually purchased a home in a less attractive part of New Haven, which helped me understand the challenges many residents face due to historic neglect and system inequalities. After buying my home, I replaced a dilapidated fence with arborvitae trees, and this angered my neighbor, leading to a conflict where her landlord sent a crew to replace the fence on what they claimed was their property. The crew ignored my request to stop escalating this to a legal issue, and this taught me how neighborhood conflicts escalate without clear communication and respect. I initially responded defensively. I learned that it's important to keep communication open, listen actively, and seek resolution before escalation. And these experiences drive my commitment to fostering stronger community dialogue and fair processes. Neighborhood tensions often stem from power imbalances, historic neglect, unclear boundaries, and lack of trust. The city needs clear standards and support systems to help neighbors resolve disputes fairly and build cooperative relationships. I think it's worth mentioning that my neighborhood dispute reminded me of larger patterns seen globally, such as the Israel-Palestine conflict, where disregarding people's land and dignity leads to escalating conflict. Though on a smaller scale, much smaller scale, of course, the principle remains similar. Respect, accountability, and listening are essential to peace and justice. I bring firsthand experience as a homeowner and housing professional, plus a commitment to equity, communication, and practical solutions. I want to help create policies that build stronger, safer, and more respectful neighborhoods.
Thank you. LCI is a board that meets regarding properties that most of the time they slip the rocks, what they can do with them, things like that. Sometimes the transfer of ownership from large corporations to smaller corporation, or they've been abandoned, they go on the livable cities tax rolls. And they'll make adjustments based on that. So it's not totally affordable housing. It's more or less issues that deal with properties that have been not neglected, because I don't think that's under the purview of them. That's the LCI board itself deals with other issues rather than we on the board get a notification saying that but they have a property that, has a sliver lot, and then we'll say, okay, and, you know, depending on how much it is, we're gonna sell it for, maybe put to good use. If they're going to expand their property and/or they're gonna build on it. So the lots cannot be, they could be this small, or they could be this small, you know, big. So it just depends on those types of issues. So I just wanna make sure that you understand what the Livable City Initiative Board is. It's not about affordable housing, okay?
I
So
appreciate that clarification.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you understand that. But I think you'll still find it very interesting, because they do see a lot of things that come before them that are not typical. And so I think that you have your own personal information that you've shared, and I think it would be beneficial as another approach to different things as we move forward. Any other questions?
Well, yes, Madam Chair.
Alder Hogan?
How was that dispute resolved?
It hasn't been resolved yet. I did my best to just intervene and stop the team with a verbal "please stop," insisting that they stop. They continue to get a green light on building a fence on their property. So the next step is to pursue some legal help and getting to the end of that.
I wish you well in that.
Thank you.
Do you participate in any community activities or organization in your area?
I have to say no. I mean, if you're getting at like something that might be a potential conflict or something.
No, not at all. Just like, are you participating in management team meetings or organizational activities that happen in the Hill?
Not yet, but I've been there since July. I've been in New Haven for most of my life, so I'm very familiar with New Haven and increasingly familiar with the Hill and City Point, simply right there on the border.
Mhm.
And I'm very interested in becoming more active as a participant.
Just to piggyback on what Madam Chair said, the LSAT board deals with the acquisition, disposition of land and ultimate future uses of land. And as a realtor, how do you think you could add to that process?
I'm not sure yet. Yeah, I'm let me think about that. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Alder Rodriguez?
Thank you. I noticed in your application that you submitted a number of boards, like the Affordable Housing Board, Cultural Affairs Commission, Fair Rent Commission, Greater New Haven Water Pollution Control, that you were interested in all of these positions, in these commissions. Were any of these offered to you additionally to this one?
They were not.
Okay.
I do have a history with Office of Cultural Affairs. When one of the hats I wore in the past in New Haven was running a recording studio business, audio production, and frequently the Office of Cultural Affairs would tap me to help set up sound equipment for various events like Jazz in the Park series when that existed, and Christmas tree lighting ceremony, things like this. So I got to know Barbara Lamb very well through that.
I sit on the Livable Cities Initiative, and there's a lot that can be complementary to these boards, the work that we do, so that it may be of interest to you as you move forward, but it's not to say that you are, locked into a specific commission. You can always explore it, and should it not be a good match for you, we have how many? Over 37. Over 37
Happy to hear
commissions.
that. Okay.
So I just want to give you that heads
Appreciate
up.
that.
And my last question is, how did you learn about the Commission of Livable Cities Initiative?
Through another member, Allison Heimer.
Yeah.
She's another agent at the office where I'm an agent. And she mentioned this to me.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any further questions?
I just-
Alder Hamilton?
Thank you, Chair. So Jeff, if appointed, you know when the meetings will be?
I actually did know weeks ago, but so much has been going on with work that I need to put it on my agenda, and I will gladly commit to them.
Right. If you're appointed, we want to make sure that you can put it in your schedule, attend meetings and participate.
I'm here, and again, my son is starting his second year at Metropolitan. I'm here for sure, at least through his high school years. Yeah, looking forward to taking part, taking action.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody, for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
Don't be scared, we don't bite, you know.
No, I noticed, I just, on a more personal note, just struggling with sleep apnea. I just want to make sure I'm organized, so.
I write those down.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Kenya Adams Martin?
Grand Day.
Hi.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you. Your name and address for the record, please.
Kenya Adams Martin, 26 Ridge Street, New Haven, Ward 10.
And you being appointed to the Commission on Parks, Programs, and Recreational Facilities. Tell us why you want to sit on this commission.
First of all, even being in this room, listening to people that are like-minded, that care about these different commissions to be a voice. So, me representing a neighborhood in Cedar Hill that is at the bottom of that beautiful park. We have playground area, we have basketball court, a whole field where you can run, safe parks that we passionately care about them all. I look at it as being an asset to be the voice, especially now when the families that I see may not can vacation somewhere, but they can take their kids to a park. And this city has, 133 beautiful parks that a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of planning has gone into, that nobody can exclude you and say you ain't to nothing to be outside. And now we need this more than ever to not exclude people because of what's may not seem to someone else's liking. You can come to the park and play in all the parks in New Haven and play safely. So my role on the commission, you get to hear the communities come in that have the same love and commitment for all of the parks and all of the free spaces. And that's my passion.
Wonderful, thank you. Any,
Yes, Madam Chair.
Alder Hogan?
What are your top three parks that you like?
Oh, top 3 parks. Edgewood, of course, East Rock Pavilion, and let's see another one. I don't know, they're also lively and give a lot to the residents and the community. So I gave my top 2. And then the rest all fit into the 3.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Alder Rodriguez, I know you're itching to ask a
Just
question.
one question. Thank you so much. My question is, there's a lot of parks where our children play. If there was something you would like to see in those parks, what would you say that would be?
Safety as far as no broken glass. the water coming on so they can enjoy the water, which has been turned on at most of the ones I've driven by. And just a place where you can go, and cleanliness, let me back that up. That is one of my major things, like even myself and even part of my entourage over there, they know if you see something, pick it up, because it doesn't belong there. We have trash cans, and more trash cans.
Thank you, Madam Chair, thank you.
Any other questions?
No, I don't have a question.
Thank you for your interest in wanting to sit on this commission.
Thank you for having me, thank you for listening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
Carl Babb? Okay, he's not here. Harvey Weinberg? Good evening. Take your time.
Thank you. I'm Harvey Feinberg. I live at 189 Westwood Road in New Haven.
And you're also being appointed to the Commission on Parks, Programs, and Recreational Facilities. They also changed the name.
Right.
So tell us why you want to sit on the committee.
I currently sit on the Parks Commission. It's my third year.
Okay,
I've learned a lot.
good.
And as you well know, Parks and Public Works have now been separated,
Yes.
which I think was a very wise decision. And what's very nice is we have a new director. And he's good. Comes with experience, he's thoughtful. He's been meeting with members of the community, mostly through the Friends groups and URI. So I think it's potentially an exciting time. And the city has wonderful parks all over the place. There's a report that was published 2 or 3 years ago by URI, Urban Resources Initiative, that says that most New Haveners live within a 10-minute walk of a park.
That's true.
And that's nice. That gives everybody an opportunity.
Absolutely. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Feinberg?
Absolutely.
Hi.
How are you? First off, thank you for your 23 years of service on the Park Commission. I'm gonna ask the same question I asked the last candidate. What are your top 3 favorite parks?
Okay. I live near Edgewood Park. I've been there since I was 10 years old. So certainly, and it has tremendous potential. Maybe we can even improve that potential. But what's very nice for Edgewood Park is the Friends group. And they, during the summer, at least get young kids out to help them as volunteers. So certainly Edgewood Park is high on my list. Along Woodward Avenue, there are, it's a very long park, but really it's mostly athletic fields. So it must be a tremendous asset for the community living out in Morris Cove. At one time, it's been quite a while, there was a canoeing program that was sponsored by the Parks Department. And we alternate weeks were at different parts of the city. The Mill River is a very nice, and it's by East Rock Park. So, and my wife and I, at least I don't know what we're doing now, but my wife and I used to walk up to the summit of East Rock, the road. It's easy. Right. So I'm participating here and there, or have in the past.
So one more question for you, Mr. Feinberg. With that vast experience on the Park Commission, I'm sure there's something that you really wanted to do and just wasn't able to do. What would you do differently in your 24 if you're so selected?
That's a good question. I think we need to make certain that the splash pads are all working. Where there are some, we probably can add to them. One problem is a water source, and that's sometimes costly. I know that the folks at Beaver Ponds Park, it's a small park. They're a dedicated group, and they want a water pipe so that they don't have to go down the hill to get water to water the plants and whatever. So that's a construction project. And the landscape architect is having a hard time finding a vendor. So things like that, small stuff. And of course, safety. That's critical in all the parks.
Thank you, Mr. Prime. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Alder Rodriguez, do you have any questions?
One question, thank you. Thank you for all the years of service.
You're welcome.
Now, you
It's
share your work with the New Haven Urban Resources Initiative.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have the New Haven Man Trust, and we have a lot of different initiatives that work with our parks. In the case of Urban Resources Initiative, the purpose of beautification and building green spaces to our city, being that there's a tremendous effort in all of that. How do you see, and I hear what you're saying about programs that existed that are not here at this time that could be of benefit. How do you feel, and do you see a place in terms of education, but now not in our big parks, in our neighborhood parks? And how do you see as a commissioner that could be implemented where we could have more programs where children are learning and being educated on how to utilize the green spaces in our neighborhoods? Thank you.
Wow. One thing that.
In our streets per se.
Sorry.
In our streets. Because, for example, we have Edgewood Park,
right.
But then we might have a park on Washington Avenue, or a park on Arch Street, or a park on Truman Street.
Or Quarry Park, which is up the hill, which the friends there worked very hard to keep it clean, to make the trails still nice and usable. They're currently fighting with a neighbor that seems to be infringing on the border of the park with trash. And we certainly want to see that cleaned up. Urban Resources plants trees. And they have a grant to plant more trees, mostly in areas that do not have adequate canopies. And the Parks Department now has a big truck, a water truck. And we're trying to get some funding to be able to hire a driver in order to water the trees. Urban Resources doesn't, Urban Resources doesn't water trees. The homeowner must. Now that's fine if you have homeowners, but in areas where there are a lot of rentals, so we're looking for a grant to see whether we can just hire a driver. I think that's crucial. I haven't been able to find out how whether this canoe program will be resurrected. But Mill River, West River, Quinnipiac River were the three areas. Now, Quinnipiac River is very windy. It's a tough place to paddle. I remember that from years ago. There there's one other thing that is slipping my mind at the moment.
Like, for example, teaching of the animals in the parks, teaching of the plants,
Right.
teaching of things that children and youth can do in our parks.
Right. We have a new program at the West Rock Nature Center. If you've lived in New Haven for a long time, you may remember the old West Rock Nature Center. When I came to New Haven, it was in existence, and sadly, I didn't know about it because the man who ran it for years and years had a young people program. So now it's been renovated, it's open now, and there's going to be 3 camps for 1 week each at a very nominal cost. And with scholarships for kids where the family would be hard pressed to pay even the nominal amount. So that's great. And they have reptiles. They've, as I said, when I came to New Haven, it was a going concern, and the director had large animals. They don't feel that they can do that now, but they do have small ones, snakes and others. And they're, at least one of the staff knows how to handle them, deal with them, teach the kids about them. So I'm very excited about that camp.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
further questions?
You're welcome.
Mr. Feinberg.
You've done a wonderful service on the Parks Department, and thank you for wanting to continue the service.
I started a long time ago. I've been on some really good commissions. And someone asked me, why do I do this? My answer was, I learn a lot. And Parks was really new for me. And I've learned a lot.
Thank you.
And now we have this exciting director.
Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Good to see you again.
Yes,
Thank
nice
you,
to
Mr.
see you.
Feinberg.
Oh,
Marion Moran,
you're
take your
welcome.
time.
Yes.
I am Mary Ann Moran, and I live in Fairhaven, and I've lived there for 45 years.
I need your number and street address.
50 Downing Street, New Haven, Connecticut.
Thank you. And you're also being appointed to the Commission on Parks, Programs, and Recreation Facilities. Tell us why you want to sit on the commission.
In Fairhaven, because it is an immigrant neighborhood and we have immigrants from all over the world, the parks are a very important part of a place for people to go. For instance, Chatham Square Park, which is right around the corner from where I live, has been a park where a lot of older people come from Mary Wade, sit on the benches, enjoy being outside. I belong to a group called the Chatham Square Neighborhood Association. We put on huge events in the beginning of the school year before the kids went back to school. We have 250 people at that. We have food, we have popcorn, we have games for the kids. So that park has been a very significant part in our community. The Quinnipiac River Park, which is a very critical park for the families that live at Quinnipiac Terrace, has become a center in the neighborhood for people that want to be by the water, for people that want to fish, because they can sit on the stone wall there. And in the past, there was a homework program at Quinnipiac Terrace when they got it all together. And they invited neighbors to come in to see the community room, and a lot of us went. And at that time, I met one of the staff people who was going to be taking care of the kids at Quinnipiac Terrace in the community room to try to keep them active. And afterward, I talked about the different things that I had done in the neighborhood with kids and how important the kids were in our neighborhood. Because many of them are immigrants, it's a very diverse neighborhood, and it's important that the kids feel comfortable. So she came up to me and she said, would you be willing to do a homework program at Quinnipiac Terrace for the kids here? Because we need someone to help them with their homework and to keep them focused on school. I said, yeah, I would be glad to do that. So a homework club started. It went for 4 years. There were 25 to 30 kids that lived at Quinnipiac Terrace that came to that program. And those kids would cross the street every day to go into Quinnipiac River Park to play because there were swings there. But they said to me one day, you know, it gets really hot there and we don't have any place, you know, where there's water or anything. So I said to them, well, what do you think we should do about that? Well, maybe we should get the mayor to build something for us there. And I said, well, maybe we should invite the mayor here, the mayor to come here, and you all could do a presentation. You know, these kids were 7, 8, 10, 12, maybe we had somebody there that was 13. So they said, oh, let's do it. So at the time, DeStefano was the mayor. I called up his office. I said, I want him or somebody from that office to come to Quinnipiac Terrace because the kids here have something they want to ask the mayor for. So at the time, he couldn't come. He was going to come and then something happened. And so he sent one of his representatives. And he came and the kids did this presentation that was just unbelievable. And at the end, he said, you're going to get the park. We're going to give you a water park. And they said, what's a water park? He said, we're going to set a big piece of cement and we're going to have all kinds of things coming out of it. And there's going to be water. So when it gets hot, you can go and be there and be comfortable. Well, that water park has made a huge difference in the lives of everybody in Fairhaven, because on the weekends, if you go by there will be families with tables and picnics going on. There will be men sitting on the river fishing, and the kids will be running around having a great time. So for me, and also then we have a Criscolo Park, which is a significant park in terms of sports for boys playing baseball, men playing softball. So for us, the parks are a place where people gather, get to know each other, learn about different cultures, and the kids have a safe place. And that's important to us because we have tons of kids in Fairhaven.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee?
Yes.
Elder Hogan?
Well, you tried to steal my question of top 3 favorite parks, but they're all in Fairhaven. Just a quick comment. It is now official that in all of my professional career, you've always come and interacted with me from LCI to the House Authority, now as a board member. And thank you for your commitment to your community. But do you have any favorite parks outside of the peninsula of Fairhaven?
Well, the other thing I do is I run 8 community gardens in Fairhaven for Gather. And so those gardens are very significant for me in terms of maintaining them and keeping them up. We have probably 350 people gardening in those gardens in Fairhaven and having fresh vegetables. So that's another significant thing that we have, which is very important in the neighborhood because people can't afford the food that's in the grocery store, but they can grow whatever they want in the gardens. We give them the seeds, we give them the vegetables, and we give them a plot. In some gardens, it's wooden beds because we've got to be careful about contamination. At Grand Acres, we have 50 people gardening, mostly immigrants, and it's been terraced and fixed up so that people can gather there. So the gardens to me also are very, very important because people want to eat healthy food.
Thank you, Ms. Moran. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Alder Rodriguez?
Thank you. It's really, I love the stories that you've shared, the life stories. My question stems around, and I understand that Gather New Haven has its specific purpose.
Right.
In reference to the gardens and.
Right.
And I visited the Fairhaven Public Library.
Yep. You
Not
saw
so
the
long
garden
ago,
behind it.
and I saw that you have a kind of like a program where people can get seeds there. And it's really a nice program. I mean, very simply done and to the T. My question stems, however, around you share that more people from other countries are here and are utilizing our parks. What would you say would be something significant in reference to communication in reference to the parks?
I think, well, at least everybody on the street that I live on, and we have a lot of new kids on the street because we've had a lot of people that have moved in and their new families. They know about the parks. The people, I mean, I think the parks and the way they're laid out in Fairhaven, people see them, they're aware of them, and they bring their kids there. If the kids have bikes, they'll bring them to Chatham Square Park because they can drive around on the sidewalk and they feel like it's safe for the kids. So, you know, I think people, as they move into, you know, we have mostly 3-family houses, old houses in Fairhaven. And so you've got multi-generational, the parents are living on the first floor, the kids that got married are living on the second and third floor. So that, you know, it's a family thing. So people will take families down to the park, either to the river or to Chatham Square, or on the other side of the river where there's trees, they'll take their families down there. And so that, I mean, the parks are a real part of the lives of people, and they value the parks unbelievably. I mean, at least in Fairhaven where I've lived, I know the parks are a significant part of people's lives. And I have to say, the city has been maintaining them really, really well. Mowing and all of that has been taken care of. So, you know, for us, it's critical to have those parks functioning and to invite people to come and have picnics and bring their families. I mean, sometimes we have 20 or 30 people at Quinnipiac at the river park, and they're having a big family gathering, you know, and they set up tables and everything, and they're able to do that there because there's plenty of room.
Sure. The part that you shared, that you said that DeStefano was helpful in founding it. What is the name of that park?
Quinnipiac River Park.
Okay, thank you.
It is the Quinnipiac River Park. Yep.
Thank
And if you go
Madam
by
Chair.
there, you can see the splash pad, and you'll see 1 million kids. Some of them are in clothes, some of them are in bathing suits, and they're all soaking wet, and they're having a great time.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any further questions? I know exactly what you're talking about the Quinnipiac Terrace, because I was part of the committee when they did the community room, and we had meetings there, and they talked about, and I remember there was conversations about the kids and when they disrupted their lives, pretty much, when they tore down the projects.
Oh, yeah. It was
And built up new homes. Some of them were mixed use and some of them were, you know, but it's beautiful there.
It is, and people love it.
Yeah, exactly. And there's still a lot of kids that are still around there
Oh, yeah,
that I remember from a long time ago.
tons of them. We have no problem with not having kids in Fairhaven. We have plenty of them.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, I'm just gonna step.
Yeah, okay. Emily Sigmund?
Oh, the one close to the microphone.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay.
Give your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Emily Sigmund. I live at 459 Dixwell Avenue, apartment 3 in New Haven.
Wonderful. You're being appointed to the Commission on Parks, Programs, and Recreational Facilities. Tell us why you would like to sit on this commission.
Well, I'm a new member of the commission formerly known as Parks.
Yes.
And so I was just getting to my feet wet there and understanding how things work and meeting people and just kind of getting the lay of the land. And I echo what Commissioner Feinberg said. We have an awesome new director, and it just feels like there's so much momentum. And I finally know what I'm doing, so sort of. So I would really love to keep going and help make our parks, keep our parks great.
Thank you. Any questions, Alder Rodriguez?
Sure, I just have a point of clarity, is that
Yeah.
okay? Can you, I heard a couple of individuals, candidates, and we have on our docket here that they're for an appointment, not a reappointment.
Yeah.
Can you just clarify, make sure that we understand that these are actually new appointments?
They're all new appointments. I said that at the beginning of the meeting. Yeah. I said that at the beginning.
Since I'm hearing the candidates come up and they've
Yeah.
been participating already.
Oh, well, Mr. Feinberg was. He was already a member and he's continuing.
And you are also.
Yes,
Some members they kept, some they did not.
So for all intents purposes, it's considered a
A new
new
Yes,
commission, so it's a
Yeah.
new appointment.
yes,
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Yes.
thank you. So this is your second term, if I
Yes.
recall.
Yes.
And so what do you see as a difference on this new committee that the old committees have been abolished? We're no longer under that realm. You have new duties, new responsibilities under the charter. I read some of the, I didn't talk about that, acquisitions of parkland, the authority of the commission, the budgeting and rules and regulations and stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of new stuff, but in the bylaws. So when you get an opportunity to go on to the website and look under the boards and commissions and pull down the information, I don't know if a lot of it has changed, but there is a new membership on it, and so I want to just make sure that everybody is following the same page going forward. But I think it's important that we continue the work that the Parks Commission is so valuable in doing, that they've done for many years. A lot of the commissioners were appointments that were for life, and unfortunately, we did away with a lot of those appointments that were lifetime appointments. So it gives other people the opportunity to be able to come in and sit on a commission, which is very helpful. So, yes. So I appreciate that. Do you feel that the new, well, it used to be just called the Parks Commission, now it's called Parks, Programs, and Recreational Facilities. When they say recreational facilities, they're talking about facilities that already exist, like Edward Park, Coogan Pavilion, those types of things. A lot of other parks do not have those. So is there something that you would like to see changed, or maybe adding something new?
Sure, yeah. And I, just to your earlier points about all of the changes that are occurring, I do think it's important to recognize that there has been a really fantastic legacy of service in the parks, and I understand why the changes needed to be made, and also just want to go on the record sharing my appreciation for those members who did sign up for the Parks Commission with the idea and the understanding that they would be on that for life. I think that takes a lot of commitment, and I think that they did a really great job. I also think with the new reconstitution of the Commission on Parks, Programs, and Recreational Spaces. And as I mentioned earlier, with the appointment of this new, very dynamic and very experienced director, that there's so many opportunities to do things differently, to do things in a way that is more accessible for people to understand how they can engage with the parks, how, if there are issues, that those issues can be remediated. And in general, it feels like the landscape for possibility of doing things differently or introducing new programs or acquiring new parks feels much more possible and straightforward than it did before. And so that's something that I'm really excited about. I think for me, my priority in joining the commission, the former commission originally, remains my priority now, which is to make sure that we have equity in our parks, equity both in terms of the quality of our parks across the different neighborhoods and also the number of our parks across the different neighborhoods. You know, we may have 133 different parks in the city, but those are disproportionately allocated to typically areas that have more resources. And I am so excited about the Gibbs Street Park that is going to be coming online. I think that that's going to be a really fantastic new addition to the New Hallville and Dixwell area. And I think if I could wave a magic wand, one of the things that I would really like to see would be that we keep doing that we keep acquiring public spaces and making green space for folks. You know, we've got a lot of new housing going in that New Hallville corridor right along Dixwell Avenue, and that's great. And we have to make sure that there are green spaces for all of those people who are moving in and all those people who've been there who haven't had as much access to green space as folks in other neighborhoods. So that is something that I would like to keep working on and trying to change.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Aldermanic.
My question stems around, you know, you have a background in forestry.
I do.
And we have so many trees and we have issues related to sidewalks and trees. It seems that when trees were planted, they didn't take into consideration how they form and how they extend. And so we're seeing a big issue related to that. In reference to the work regarding the commission, do you see the opportunity for education and increasing foresters, but of children in our educational system here in New Haven, Connecticut? Is there any kind of effort that you are aware of in our school system of education and making foresters so that they can then be able to take care of our green spaces, our parks, and whatever has to do with this kind of work? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a wonderful question and a great sentiment, and one that I completely agree with. I think to echo what Commissioner Feinberg had mentioned, I think that the renovation of the West Rock Nature Center is a really big improvement, and the creation of those camps for youth where they've got different rangers coming in and teaching kids about all kinds of things is really fantastic. And I think there's a lot more room to expand those kinds of programs, expand the access, expand the outreach around that. You know, I mean, LEAP does a fantastic job with all of their programming, and our newish parks director, I believe, also has a background in forestry. So I think that that's probably top of mind. I don't want to speak for him, but I imagine that that's top of mind for him too. Speaking for myself, outside of my, well, sort of adjacent to my role as a commissioner, I do research on trees in the city of New Haven and how they do or don't uptake contaminants. And for me, one of the things that I am really excited about is doing that research together with kids in the public schools. So I've been meeting with Sorry. No, that's okay. It happens to all of us. But in any case, I have had the great pleasure of being able to speak with some of our educators and administrators in the schools and to think about ways that that research and our findings from that research could become programatized. And I think that if we're able to move forward with that, I would certainly want to be doing that kind of work in park spaces with youth and yeah, to recruit more people who are interested in doing those things. I also think that the Urban Resources Institute is just a fantastic, it's one of the, I mean, it's one of the premier institutes of its kind in the world, and we're really lucky to have them in the city. And I think that they have done a lot to improve the street tree issue moving forward. So give them a shout out for that.
Thank you. I too look forward to the dream that we would see students graduating and going to the School of Forestry.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any further questions? Okay, thank you so much.
Do I get the 3 favorite
Well,
parks?
I was about to ask.
Go ahead, let's hear it.
I apologize for stepping out. And I'm a big park person, that's why I asked the question.
Yes.
So what are your 3 favorite parks in New Haven?
Well, my closest park, the park that I go to most often, is Beaver Ponds Park because I live nearby. So I have a very soft spot in my heart for Beaver Ponds, and I think there's a lot of.
You don't have to answer anymore. That was the correct answer.
It's such a great. So many people love that
Hidden
park.
gems people don't realize.
Yes. And I think there's a lot more we can do for that park. And I know Harvey mentioned, getting the water put in for the Friends groups, but all kinds of things we could do at Beaver Ponds. So, and I believe there's going to be some solar canopies that are getting put in there. So that's pretty exciting. Get some shade on that parking lot and generate some electricity for the city. Should I keep going?
Yeah, you have 2 more to go.
I've been in New Haven I grew up in Colorado where there are very tall mountains, but I've been in New Haven for 15 years, and for those 15 years when I've needed to clear my head, there's been one promontory rock on the top of East Rock that has been a really special, sacred place for me to go and just sit and look over the city and marvel at the fact that, like, in the summertime, there are 130,000 people living in the city, but you would never know it because we have such a fantastic canopy over most of the city. It looks like a little forest, and that makes me feel calm. So I have to give my rock at East Rock a shout out. And then my 3rd favorite park is a park that's not technically a park, but I hope maybe someday it will be. It's called Everybody Park. It was named by my friend who at the time was 8, and Tamar, and it's a park on Shelton Avenue, or it's a green space on Shelton Avenue that my neighbors and I have been working on for a very long time, just beautifying. It was a place where people were dumping a lot of trash, and it just was this vacant city lot. And so ever since the pandemic, we've been in there cleaning stuff up and planting flowers and fruit trees. We have some vegetable beds from Gathering in Haven. We have so many kids that love to play there. And it had actually been voted on to be approved as a city park, but that was part of the Kensington Park situation. And so, while I think it's a very good thing that Kensington Park got to remain a park, we were very bummed that our park designation got taken away. But I think maybe if I had to sum up number 3, it would just be like the parks of the future, like the parks that don't exist yet but really could and should. And I think I see lots of opportunities for those kinds of places, particularly around my neighborhood in New Hallville, because that's where I'm walking around and seeing things. But I think there are probably opportunities all over the city to increase access to green space. And that's my answer.
Thank you for your answer. And next fall, we will be having tree tapping or taking the sap out in Beaver Ponds Park and as well as 12th Street. So we'd like to invite you.
Well, I've been doing research on tapping trees in Beaver Ponds Park. And those trees, I'll have lots of data for you, hopefully next year, about the sugar content of all of those trees, and also if there's any contamination risk from tapping the trees, and if there's anything you can do to remove the contamination if it's there. Who are you? Is that a Friends of Beaver Ponds Park thing, or?
That is a Friends of Beaver Ponds Park, Friends of the Gale Field,
Cool.
Webb, the Whaley Edgewood Beaver Hills management team also has sponsored a tapping last fall.
That's really exciting. I love that. When I'm not on the Parks Commission, I'm a PhD student, and the topic of my dissertation is urban maple tapping. So, I would really love to
I guess
come.
I tapped into that.
I see what you did there, but yes, thank you for letting me know about that, and I would really love to be there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No further questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you all
Okay,
so much.
Suman, thank you. Matthew, McEnomen, I'm sorry. I'm butchering your name and I apologize.
Madam
He's coming. Hi,
Macamino.
I'm sorry?
Macamino.
Nacomino. Oh, okay, thank you. Yes, thank you. Name and address for the record.
Yes, Matthew Macamino, 151 Curtis Drive.
Okay, and you're being appointed to the youth commissions. Tell us why.
Yeah, great question. Soon be starting my 6th year in New Haven, or 7th year in New Haven, and been a part of the BoA community and in the BoA bubble, and just kind of thought this would be a great opportunity to get to know more of New Haven, more people in New Haven, and thought this would be a great opportunity to share, my life. I'm getting older, right? I'm moving into the mentorship stage of my life, right? Being able to share things that I've learned throughout the years and to empower and uplift our youth and to help them build, capture, achieve their dreams and see what they want to do, and to have resources maybe that I didn't have growing up, and to be able to think about, to provide that, and so to be a source of knowledge and listening and just trying to create a better space. And so throughout my whole career, I've always been passionate about education and college access, but also career development. And so those are two things that I didn't necessarily have growing up. So those are the two things that I'm most passionate about, trying to help others achieve. And so I think that's probably the biggest part of the reasons to do this.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee? No. No questions. How do you like that?
My favorite parks are the ones with pickleball.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Civil sport.
Yeah, she doesn't have to attend, so next would be.
Alicia Crutchfield? I'm sorry. Go away at the end, I apologize. No, not the end, there's still more.
Good evening.
Good evening. State your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Alicia Crutchfield, and I work and pretty much live at 794 Edgewood Avenue, New Haven, Connecticut. So, hey.
The reason why you've been asked to be reappointed, and the reason being that you're here is because of your attendance.
Correct.
So could you tell us why, the attendance is off a little bit?
I certainly can, because I'm that much involved in the community, in the arts. And I also run a business, you know, where I spend a lot of my time. I'm also on 3 other boards, Common Ground, Gather, and I'm just really involved in community. And so I spread myself a bit thin. So it's been hard to attend the in-person, but I do and I have made an effort to be at most of the Zoom. I'm at all of the events for the most part, you know, that we sponsor, curate, develop, etc. That's really it. I have decided to retire from the Common Ground Board just because I do so much as a parent and as a business partner. And I want to be able to remain on the commission because I love the arts. I think that it is a mechanism for hope, for healing, and for economic justice. You know, my business is rooted in the arts and well-being. Most of what I sell, most of the programming is highlighting artists. I mean, so much so that we've generated almost $1 million in the last 2 years selling locally made products. And a percentage of that money goes back into the community. Like I donate to almost every arts organization that I can. So
That's the reason why, because a lot of times, it is either you're sick, you weren't able to attend, but now you're better and you can attend. So we can't make that assumption. We have to have you come before us and ask us, because sometimes there may be times when, you just couldn't make it because of the time. The time every month was not an opportunity for you. Or sometimes we ask if you can talk to the chair of the commission, if they would be willing to change the date. But you have to remember that there are a lot of other members of the commission as well that may not want to change. So there's always different opportunities. So just so you're aware, there's other available opportunities for you to ask.
that's good to know. I didn't know that.
Yes.
You know, that I could ask for a shift in scheduling. You know, I certainly don't want to disrupt others' flow.
Well,
As Alder Rodriguez said, we all have 1,000 things going on, but it has nothing to do with being sick or anything or not wanting to be present. It's just I'm any and everywhere that I can to advocate for and to support the arts, and especially the cultural affairs.
Yeah, that's helpful. It's like every term when we start, that, you know, I've always been the 4th Monday of every month. That's because it worked for me. And so we usually ask if that works with the committee members too. So then we establish a date, but that doesn't mean, like, we had a meeting on a Thursday one time because we just had to do it. But, you know, so sometimes the meetings can be flexible. It doesn't hurt to ask. And if it becomes a problem that you can't attend the meetings, then I would just ask that you tell the chair that, you know, you're not able to complete, or you have to give up something else. Because we can't, if you come back before us for another reappointment, we won't be able to approve you because we're questioning your attendance right now. So I just want to make sure that you understand that.
I completely understand, and I will ask and I will tell them you told me to.
Absolutely.
No, I understand. All jokes aside, I get it. Like I said, I love what I do. You know, I love my work. I love the for-profit and the nonprofit. You know, verticals in my business, and so it's important to show up, you know, and be present. And I also need to slow down as well, anyways. So I understand.
Any other questions? Yes, Alder Hamilton.
So if you're reappointed at this point, what are you gonna do different to be able to show up to these meetings and when they're scheduled?
So as of right now, they're the first Mondays of the month, and as I mentioned, I've already departed from the Common Ground Board, which was the first Mondays, the same time. And I often had to choose between which one I could attend or choose between which event I needed to be at, to volunteer my services. And so it's removing some of the things from my plate, Alder Hamilton, and doing the best that I can. And I will ask if we can shift a bit.
Yeah, because, being reappointed. We wouldn't want to see the same cycle if you're reappointed, not,
Correct.
have to definitely be present.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
No questions at this time.
You're not gonna ask me about my favorite books?
I was simply gonna ask you who your sidekick was.
Yeah. So we're at a park.
Through the chair, we may want to ask the chair of the Cultural Affairs Commission. Because that's very important in the sense that I understand that you attend Zoom meetings. And Zoom meetings are good, but we know they never take the place of in-presence work.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you.
I can reach out to Alex to see if maybe we can work that out. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good evening. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. If Michelle Garden was not required to attend. Wendy Gamma was not required to attend. Betta Tops was not required to attend. John Russo was not required to attend. Justin North was not required to attend. Giovanni Zinn was not required to attend. Bert Austin was 100%, so no, he didn't need to attend, and not required to attend was Robin Wilson. So we are finished with the committee appointments. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify on any of these candidates? Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify on any of these appointments? I see you have your hand up, Sean. Would you like to speak this evening?
Thank you very much.
No. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on any of these appointments this evening? Seeing none, I'd like to close the public portion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? The motion carries. Thank you. What say you?
Madam Chair, I move, item 1, the appointment of August Rios to the Affordable Housing Commission.
Thanks, there's, second, okay, there's, discussion. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Rios is very, willing and, knowledgeable. He sounds very passionate, and I am in favor of his appointment to the Affordable Housing Commission.
Any further discussion? Yes, Alder, oh my God, Alder Hubbard.
Your favorite Alder, duh.
Yeah, I know, you're right in front of me.
I also agree with Alder Hamilton. His passion, he was very confident, very informational. And he's also included stats. So I also am in favor.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? The motion carries. Yes, Alder Hamilton.
Next item on the agenda, item 2, I would like to move the appointment of Richard Hagman to the Cultural Affairs Commission.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved in second. Discussion. Yes, Alder.
Madam Chair, I really wasn't impressed with the explanation of why it wasn't attending meetings due to teaching, but if someone on the committee can make me feel better about it, I will change my views.
I kind of, I understood that too, but I think he did make a commitment, but if I recall, that he would make the attempt to attend the meeting, so I'm not sure. Does anyone else feel the same way?
I'll move it along, but I was just saying that
Yeah.
it was really not a good explanation aside from that. Okay.
I have no issue with it.
Yes, Alder, Hubbard.
I, thank you, Madam Chair. I wrote down, my comments about him was that he valued the purpose, he was honest, everything that he mentioned, even onto his resume was just straight music. I have no other question about that. So, I'm in favor of giving him a chance.
Yes, Alder Hamilton.
Yeah, I'm in favor of giving him the opportunity. We know that attendance is paramount to any meetings, and it's important that one, when a person is appointed, it's their responsibility to attend their meetings and participate. And I feel we can give him, Mr. Hagerman, the opportunity to see what he's made of, because if he doesn't show up to the meetings, then, there will be the possibility to not reappoint. Plain and simple.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I believe that I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Kelly's name.
Is it Hageman?
Hagerman.
Hagerman.
Hagman.
Hageman? Could you correct us?
We just destroyed his name, so.
All the way. Sorry.
Madam Chair, I believe that he would be a great complementary to the cultural affairs with the background that he has and the passion that he has, that he's interested in building a relationship and seeing what could he personally gain as well as what he is going to contribute. I think he would be a good fit for this commission.
In that case, I'll make a motion, Madam Chair.
Okay.
The motion's already made.
Excuse me?
Motion's already been made.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, but we're in
My bad.
discussion.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you,
Any
Ms. Elizabeth.
abstentions? The motion carries. Yes, Alder Hamilton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I move item 3, the appointment of Mr. Henry Sayu to the Commission on Equal Opportunities.
Second.
It's been moved in second discussion.
Very articulate young man, seemed to be on point, understood quite a bit more than I did, well, going forward. And I don't mean it like I'm the smart guy, but, when I asked him about the cannabis question, was trying to see how, what that connected to all the world. And he explained it quite well, where there's a connection amongst all the work he did. And he's a New Haven native, so, born and raised there.
Product of our schools.
Yeah. Product of our schools, yes.
Yes. Yes.
I am also, I'm sorry. I was very impressed also. I have to say that, very knowledgeable. They work on all fronts and still willing to serve, which is wonderful and very commendable. So I'm definitely in support of him being appointed to the Equal Opportunities Commission.
Any further discussion? Alder Hubbard? I think he's an amazing young man, and with all the knowledge that he's and the studies that he's undergone and done, I think he'll be a wonderful asset to the Equal Opportunity Commission. Since no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention, the motion carries.
Item number 4, Madam Chair,
Yes.
is the appointment of Jeff Wilson to the Livable Cities Initiative. I move the item.
Second.
Moved in second discussion. Alder Hogan, I know you're trying to think of something.
I'm not trying to dig in me. It's a hard no for me. I mean, it's just, there's no background in acquisition, disposition, land. I just didn't make the connection. I can see him being on cultural affairs. I can see him being on other boards, but with his musical background and his, I just didn't see how that worked for LCI. With the work that they do, and I know that Alder Rodriguez, sits on the board. Maybe she can
swayed me differently, and, but I just didn't see the connection for the board, and I didn't get a sense for, which is why I asked about how did you resolve that issue within, because that's what you have to do, resolving land issues. What do you do in your community? So are you really outreaching to others? Not in a sense for your personal issue, but are you involved? And I just didn't kind of feel like I got a sense for it. And then the last thing for me was when he stated that a coworker referred him because they sit on the board, and I just didn't, it didn't connect for me, that's all.
Madam Chair, I concur.
Okay.
The gentleman has, has demonstrated interest in a number of others commissions before the Livable Cities Initiative. And as he also shared, he wasn't very, as he was sharing with us, he wasn't very definitely honed in on Livable Cities Initiative.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Alder
Yes,
Hubbard.
I did write, excuse me, I did write down that he was honest about being unsure about what he can bring or what he can also get out on being on the commission. So I am in agreement with my colleagues on this.
I didn't feel like he knew enough about LCI, and I think that his little incident there initially, maybe, I don't know, I feel like being on LCI, he probably felt like might give him a little edge to be able to resolve his situation. Unfortunately, I mean, it's not just an opinion, but I don't see where he probably will offer much to the, yeah.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if I may be so direct, what turned me off immediately when he said he moved to a less desirable neighborhood? That got me immediately. Or less desired neighborhood, or whatever. Maybe he said less desired, but he said less desired. And I'm thinking that's a nice street, and with the right families and the right homeowners, it can be turned around fairly easily. But that was the thing that just hit me in the stomach real fast. I'm sorry
Not
to say
saying
that.
that I'm here author, but yes.
So working with LCI, which just started a new direction, needing new energy, that didn't resonate with me to say, okay, I can see you doing work for us. I'm sorry to say it that way, but that's what hit me immediately.
May I say something?
Yes.
Maybe this is not the right fit for him. I think maybe he would do better in cultural affairs or some another, but not the LCI, unfortunately.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You're voting for the person. And you're saying
For the
aye.
person.
Oh,
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
yeah, I'm in opposition. I don't think,
I'm opposed as well.
Okay.
He's the right fit.
Okay. So the motion fails.
Right. All right, next one on our list is item number 5. The appointment of Kenya Adams Martin to the Commission on Parks Program and Recreational Spaces. I move the item favorably.
Second.
Moved in second discussion. Yes, Alder Hamilton.
I was very impressed with Miss Kenya. Her love and admiration, how she spoke very passionately about the parks and all the activities and doings. I think she'd be fantastic to continue doing what she's doing. So I'm in favor of her.
Any further discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, Alder Hubbard.
I also agree with my colleague. I put down that what she actually said, she wanted to be an asset, to be a voice on the board, and also it was her passion. Of course, the famous questions of the 3 parts, it was just like coming to her. So I totally agree.
Madam Chair,
Alder Hogan.
the reason why I asked the question, I want to see if there was diversity amongst the 5 of everyone had a different part. So that way we're not getting someone saying, oh, Edgewood Park, Edgewood Park, Edgewood Park. And it was more to see if they were paying attention. And she picked up on something that touches me all the time, is not enough trash cans in the park.
Yes.
Safety,
Yeah, and they're either overflowing.
cleanliness.
Yeah, it's just cleanliness. So I'm in favor of.
Okay.
Number 7.
All in favor? All
Aye.
in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries.
Now, we're passing over number 6, right?
Yes,
Mr. Carl
Mr.
Bath
Bath,
is
yeah.
was not present.
Yeah.
So, item number 7, I move,
Then we have to give leave to withdraw, no?
No, it's a new appointment.
Okay, no.
right, we just passed over, right?
Yes.
Number 7, I move the, appointment of Mr. Harvey Feinberg to the Commission on Parks Program and Recreational Facilities favorably.
Second.
Yes, voted second discussion. I mean, he's been on the board for what, 23 years?
Right.
And he's still learning. So I don't know how much more he can learn, but I'm sure he will.
Right.
You know, it's sorry, Madam Chair. It's also about the history that they bring.
Yes, he does bring a lot of history.
And Madam Chair, also his experience could be probably supported, and now we understand that this commission has a term.
Right, right.
Yes. Exactly.
I think he will continue to do what he does and, in support of and be an asset to them.
Absolutely. And I think him willing to continue doing what he's been doing all these years. He'll be an asset to that committee. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, any abstention, the motion carries.
Excellent. Madam Chair.
Yes.
Item number 8, I move the appointment of Mary Ann Moran to the Commission on Parks Program and Recreational Spaces favorably.
Second.
It's moved in second discussion. Yes, Alder Hamilton.
Ms. Moran is another dedicated person, right, to parks and green spaces. And they don't come any better, I don't think, as far as dedication to community parks and the whole work. So I'm definitely in favor of her.
Yes.
Madam Chair, Ms. Moran has touched me in all of my professional lives. As being someone that was not a complainer, but a help solve the problem person. Even going back to the time when we sold the land, when there was parkland at Quinnipiac Terrace in the middle, which was swapped out. She was very adamant because that was still on Downing Street. So, yes, I am in favor of her, and I know that she will be very fastidious and attentive to all the things that happen, not only in Fairhaven, but in other.
Okay. And seeing no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention, the motion carries. Yes, Alder Hamilton.
Okay, item number 9, right?
Yes.
Item number 9, I move the appointment of Emily Sigmund to the Commission on Parks, Program, and Recreational Spaces.
Second.
It's been moved in second discussion. Alder Hamilton.
I feel Emily will continue the passionate works. She's a forestry person educationally, and she brings a lot to the table and will continue to support and be an asset to the commission. So I'm in favor of her.
Any further discussion?
No, I'm in support.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions, the motion passes.
Excellent. Madam Chair,
Yes.
item number 10, the appointment of Matthew Mackinac to the Youth Commission. I move it favorably.
Second.
It's moved in second discussion.
He's ready to donate time. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Alder Hamilton.
Yeah, he's ready to donate his time and, give back. I'm in support.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention, the motion carries. Last one on the page.
Okay, so, Madam Chair, I move the reappointment of Ann Massaro to the Civil Service Board.
You want to do, I'm sorry,
I'm sorry.
hold that 1 second. You want to do all of the ones that were not required to attend all at once, so this way we can move them all together?
Right, yes, ma'am, I most certainly can. So I move item number 11, 13, 14. Do I need to call out the names?
No.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I move all those appointments favorably, reappointments, correction, favorably.
Second.
It's moved in second discussion. Yes, Alder Hamilton.
All the reappointees had excellent attendance and were not required to be here and did their job. So I'm in favor of reappointing them to their respective boards and or commissions.
Any further discussion? Yeah, when you get 100%, 73, 75,
Yeah.
86, that's a dedication to their committee. So
Definitely.
I appreciate all the efforts that they have put in. So I also am in favor of these appointments. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? The motion carries. Yep.
All right, number 12.
I have a hard time with that one too.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Item number 12.
Mr. Hogan, I think, wants to say something.
I've been pretty vocal.
Is it
Yeah,
really?
Alder Hogan, go
So-
right ahead.
We need a motion first.
Wait,
No, yeah.
item number 12, the reappointment of Miss Alicia Crutchfield to the Cultural Affairs Commission. I move the item.
Second.
Alder Hogan.
While she didn't provide the best reason for missing meetings, which was multitasking and running her business and being alive and alert in the arts community, it is very true though. She attends all the arts events. Usually she has her sidekick or daughter with her. But she brings at least to the table a business owner that is involved in the arts. She brings experience and connections and resources to the board and commission that aren't normally had just by someone that's not involved. We've given chances, and if she in fact did resign from the Common Ground Board,
Right.
I would say yes. I know that we left off with referring it to the Cultural Affairs Chair. So I would say I would vote favorably based on the recommendation from the chair.
Thank you. Yes, Alder Hamilton.
I had a big question mark, but one thing she did mention is the fact that probably what kept her from not attending was 2 meetings scheduled at the same time, right? Where, okay, if she has resigned from the other board and commission that was conflicting with this, you know, I concur with Alder Hogan, with if the chair of the cultural affairs, you know, is in agreement, then I would say we'll give her the opportunity to be reappointed, you know, a second time, as long as she knows that meeting attendance at least 75% is mandatory.
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause
I think we made that abundantly clear.
yeah.
You certainly did, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, usually our staff person does reach out and give reference to reappointments.
Right,
to
right.
the chairs. I don't know what has happened here, but definitely if the chair feels that she is definitely contributing and she is an asset to the committee, then, and she has already indicated that she really wants to stay in this committee, in this commission, that we should consider those things. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Alder Hubbard, do you have a comment? Okay. No. Just since there's no more discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? The motion carries. I need to close the public portion.
What do you mean?
I need to close the meeting.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
I move that we adjourn, Madam Chair.
Second.
Okay, moved in second discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention, the motion carries. I agree,
Wait,
Meeting is adjourned.
yep,
let's
he's got to turn off the
get
tape.
recording.
Okay, you wanna push that way?
The red X?
Yeah.
Do you ever get comments?
We do?
Yeah. And please make sure those